Hello and welcome everyone on All the Rage Sports. We are back and live. This is take two because your lovely tech manager here, Jesse, screwed up the audio. So we are back. We fixed it. We are now live again, and we are posting all the links to our Twitter, our Facebook, everything on there. So I wanted to kind of do my intro again because football's back, baby, and I am excited because I woke up and the other day, walk outside, 40-degree weather, get hit with that nice, cool, crisp fall air. And I'm like, baby, football's ready. It's time. It is time. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm actually like really way too focused in on this preseason stuff because I just want this season to start. We got the fantasy drafts coming up soon. We got week one here in what, week and a half at this point. So I'm ready. How do you guys feel right now?
Well, as I alluded to earlier, I do agree. We've had a little bit of a cold snap in the northeastern part of the country here. We've been treated to some, highs of like 64, 65 the last couple of days. It really does feel like cold, wet, like fall. Sit on your couch all day, chili in the crock pot, and just do nothing but watch football all day. Or actually, Carly made cheeseburger soup today. That's
You made
Was
some
very
stew.
good.
Oh,
yeah, that's another one of those
award
great
winning.
fall meals.
Award
Any
winning.
good like hearty soup,
Oh,
it's just
good
soup
stuff.
season, and it feels like that time of year. So I don't necessarily agree with your take about getting too involved in the preseason, but it is very much there's a lot to be excited. There's a lot of
Yes.
stuff coming, and we know what's coming down the track.
That's yeah, you're not wrong. There is a lot of things to be excited about. Now, I'm just going to start off real quickly because obviously the preseason. The way I've always looked at the preseason is it's the closest thing the NFL gets to college football because you look at preseason and you see all these highlights of players and you go, is he that good or is who he's against that bad? And I always kind of felt that way about college football. I've really always enjoyed watching it from time to time here, but I've always like curbed my enthusiasm about certain players because I'm always like, okay, cool, he did really well, but like against Alabama, he didn't, but he destroyed, Western Central Catholic Michigan Tech, you know. So it was always like a little bit different for me on that. So that's
McNeese
what,
State.
yeah, yeah. South Harmon University,
So,
Institute of Technology.
I apologize to any alumni of McNeese State who may be watching.
Yeah. South Harmon Institute of Technology. That's where you gotta go. But yeah, no, that's I've always looked at that as our closest thing to the college football kind of atmosphere. So I'll name off a few of our undefeated teams. We got the Bears, the Jags, Miami, the Rams, Philly, and Minnesota, the Jets, Tennessee, Denver, and that's it. So out of all of those, who are you seeing as the pretenders and who are you seeing as actual contenders? Carl, I'll start with you on that one.
Well, as I said earlier, the Jags are not good. So, um, they're undefeated, but they're trash. And their whole division is basically flipped upside down from what it'll be, aside from the Texans, who I'm actually like sitting here looking at some stuff right now, and it's kind of funny. The points for the lowest points for the points scored in the preseason so far is there's a few teams. There's the Bills with 15, the Steelers with 15, the Bengals with 17 points, the Chargers with 12 points, and the Panthers with 15. Those are the lowest scoring teams of the preseason. And then you have the Texans with 65, the Broncos with 61, the Bears with 81.
Jesus Christ, the Texans have
Yeah.
65 points. I guess they have 3 games.
Yeah.
So
Well, the Bears have
Well,
81.
the Bears
No
also had
wonder
3.
everybody's all over Caleb Williams.
Yeah.
He looks like God right
Yeah.
now.
he doesn't throw it behind
Yeah.
the back though.
Yeah, no, it's just kind of funny. Like most teams are at like between 20 and 30 points, but it's just like the Colts somehow have 51, and that's with a loss. So it's just kind of.
I'm not biased with this next take, but apparently no kids have ever gotten on YouTube and seen the video of Dan Marino throwing 40 yards behind his back. Because literally,
I actually
Mahomes throws,
just watched that yesterday.
I
I
know.
Mahomes throws a
literally just
fucking
saw that
shovel
yesterday.
pass behind his back in
Yeah.
preseason, and it has nothing to do with this shirt or anything behind me, and everybody loses their fucking mind.
Yeah, I did. I did actually, no kidding, see that video yesterday on my
Everybody's
reels
like,
or whatever.
"Oh my god, I've never seen that before." And it's like, you have access to the internet. Be better.
Do better.
Yeah.
Jesse, do you have any takes on some of these horrible record teams in the preseason so far?
On the horrible record teams, I mean,
Or
the
excuse
horrible
me, the undefeated teams. Excuse me, I
undefeated
went
teams?
backwards.
my biggest takeaway on the undefeated teams would be those are the teams that perhaps have good backup quarterbacks because those are the people that are actually playing the entire game. And I'm just surprised that we're even still keeping records for preseason games because no one actually remembers them anyway. Like I said earlier, do you remember what your team's record was in the preseason last year? I do not. It doesn't matter. It doesn't, don't even worry about it. Like, if your team's 0-2 in the preseason, it doesn't matter. It means nothing. Odds favor. You haven't watched any of your players that are actually going to matter play anyway. It's mainly a time for rookies.
I want
Players
everybody
that are
to
trying to make the
remember
team.
that the year that the Lions went 0-16, they were 4-0 in the preseason.
Yeah, right there.
There
That
is
should
a
tell you
direct
everything you need to know.
correlation.
Mm-hmm.
And the Steelers last year were 3-0, and then Kenny Pickett took a big old dump in the bed.
Well, if you're 0-2,
No,
that must mean you guys are 17-0.
This time last year, he was still your savior. Don't jump ship that quickly.
He may not even make the Eagles team.
He may end up being a free agent.
Like, it actually looks like he might not even make the team.
Tanner McKee, who's our third string at the moment, does look better.
Doesn't surprise me in the least.
No.
So
He'll be the backup, though, because,
Works out for us, Jesse, because then we can just make fun of him because we're like, oh, what a waste of a first round pick.
Yeah,
I'm
without question.
vindicated because of Jamarcus. Moving on.
all right, Jace, do you have any of them that you're kind of looking at going, ooh, yeah, that's not even close to what it's going to be like this season?
I'm just really, I know, like you brought up before we were getting into the show, I just don't know what to, I want to be a hater because Caleb Williams looks really good, but like as for all the reasons we mentioned before, you're not playing against starting defenses, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
There's no game planning involved.
Right. I think it's kind of like you alluded to. Everybody's really hyped up on him, and I think this is a little bit like when USC would play like, oh shit, Washington State or something like that, and run through them. It's like, oh yeah, Caleb Williams looks great, and everybody's like already ready to anoint him the next big thing or whatever. And then like week one, they start throwing like different looks at him. Shit, that's gonna be like, oh, the wheels have completely fallen off. And
That is right. Mm-hmm.
He does look very impressive right now, and I'm with the draft capital and everything they paid. I'm interested to see if I'm wrong. I will admit I was wrong if this happens. If it ends up working out and he ends up being a good NFL quarterback, but I think what we're seeing right now is a lot of the shit that got him drafted. I'm gonna go beat the shit out of some mid-major or something like that, and then as soon as USC had to play somebody in primetime, what'd he do?
Yeah. Now, the one thing I remember them talking about when he came out of college was his I want to say rebounding, I guess, in a sense where he gets hit, he gets pressured, he gets frustrated, and then he's not making reads properly. And I think that was a lot of the problems with Justin Fields was his decision making over there. So I would hope that they got a better quarterback in Caleb Williams than they had in Justin Fields, and hope that they made better, had a better decision making. He can, read the defenses better, etc. But they may have just kind of doing the same cycle over again.
I think Williams is by far the better passer, but I think everybody's kind of like, oh, well, now we've got somebody who is better in the pocket, is more accurate when they roll out. I think Justin Fields got scapegoated a little bit. I think people in Chicago are about to find that out.
No, that's it.
So what do you think with the preseason games right now? Like, of the rookie quarterbacks, who's actually going to be good?
I hate to say this one, and Jason's going to yell at me, but
Bo
I
Nix.
think the marriage of Bo Nix and Sean Payton will actually turn out being good. I don't
He
think
has looked good.
yeah, and I think it's because of that marriage. Sean Payton.
Claims he's his next Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I think that they.
Well, with Jason's luck, he will be. So
That's right. That's right.
Shut up! Don't you dare wish that evil on me, Ricky Bobby. I don't need it. I am already cursed with Mahomes. Okay, don't do that to me.
Yeah. Well, that's just it. Is like he's looked good. He's looked accurate. He's made good decisions. It's obviously the preseason. You're not playing the number one defenses. They're not really scheming against you, etc. But I mean, look, what does Peyton still have it? Peyton or Sean Payton still have it? That's the real question here, because of what he did with Breeze, record-setting seasons. Is he going to be able to bring up this rookie quarterback in that same kind of way that he did Breeze over there? A lot of people point to Breeze success to Sean Payton's success, kind of concurrently. So, concurrently, excuse me. That's the one I'm watching. I'm not saying he's going to be the best. I'm not saying he's going to be the worst. But that's the one that piques my interest right now.
I think Jaden Daniels is going to
yeah, I was about to say, I think Jaden Daniels might be the best out of all of them.
Yeah.
The other three panelists are all line. Jaden Daniels is the one I think to watch.
I don't disagree with you.
Bo Nix is another one, and again,
JJ McCarthy was looking good, but rip.
Yeah.
I think that in 5 years from now, JJ McCarthy may be the better one. And I know everybody's like, no, he's a specialist.
Losing your rookie season is already a massive step back, so he's not in a good place to be.
I just see JJ McCarthy, like his ceiling is being like Alex Smith.
That's kind of what I was about to say.
I don't hate Alex Smith. I mean, he was taken way too soon. Like he had a lot of shit going on in San Fran, and that's no hate towards him, but just the same type of just almost like a game manager. He's gonna be mobile enough, and he's gonna make enough throws to keep you in it, but he ain't gonna blow anything wide open.
He ain't gonna win it for you, but he isn't gonna lose it for you.
Yeah, he's not gonna turn the ball over. He's not gonna make poor decisions. He's going to make sure that the game is efficient, and that's what I can see out of him. Maybe he'll be the next Kirk Cousins. Who knows?
I will say that when Drake May came into the game in their preseason game last week, that offense looked significantly better compared to what it did with Jacoby Brissett. So I won't be surprised if they come out and name him their starter for week 1, honestly.
And that's something that you go, that's just an example of how quick shit can change in the preseason. Mm-hmm. Because when we recorded the show last week, everybody was like, oh, fuck, Drake May looks horrible, blah, blah, blah. And now
Milton, all day.
Bazooka Joe?
I'm not disagreeing, but now everybody's like, oh, he looks awful, blah, blah, blah. A lot of these guys, and I think that's I hate to say it, but I think that's what I would be worried about if I was a Broncos fan. I think guys like May and Bo Nix, they need to be slowly worked into the fold, and they need to be on the bench and just to learn that way.
That's a rare way to learn now, though. Most quarterbacks are just thrown into the fire.
Right. That's the way May is probably going to learn, and I think that's going to be the difference. I know me and you, Jesse, aren't huge Sean Payton believers at all, but I think that coupled with the fact Sean Payton is a little bit overrated as a quarterback whisperer, and the fact that they're starting him as a rookie, I think those are two things that are working really, really against Knicks, but I think he could be serviceable.
So here's what I would say about Drake May, and I've heard a lot of people talk about this because they talk about him a lot on like Pat McAfee show and other things that I listen to. So and Lombardi's come on and talked to him many times and said this, like, if you start May and go to Brissett, you're ruining May's career if it turns out bad. And this is going to be a bad team. They know they're going to be a bad team. They're going to try very hard to be competitive, but they're not going to be competitive. So it doesn't make sense to start May yet. It makes sense to go with Jacoby Brissett and just work May in later in the season when you already see that the light in the end of the tunnel is very dim. That's when you go, okay, now it's time to get May some game experience.
Obviously, that might be the correct way to go about it, but it really depends on whether or not ownership and the coaching staff are on like the same page. Like, are the coaching staff worried about getting wins right now, or are they there for the long term and don't really have to worry about job security and can take the long approach? Like sometimes they don't eat, like sometimes they're not eye to eye. Sometimes the coaches are like, well, I need to win games, otherwise I'm not going to be here. So.
I love the background, Carly.
Yeah, I just figured out that I could do that. So instead of looking at all the laundry hanging in the closet, I figured I'd make it nice.
Dirty, my messy guest room bedroom.
Hey, this is a reference only we will get, but you literally look like you're in like Putt Putt Goes to the Moon. Right
I know.
Yeah,
I was literally thought that myself.
Right up Putt Putt Goes to the Moon
I do
area.
Well,
look like
actually, that's not really that too much of a niche or cliche thing to bring up now that Backyard Sports is coming back.
This is true.
Yes.
I mean,
Same company made it, didn't it?
That's huge.
Yeah, I think they were all humongous, wasn't it?
Yeah,
like,
I think it's right.
Yeah, it was
really excited about that. Overly excited about, and you named like my 3 favorite players too, with Pablo Sanchez, Pete Wheeler, and what is it, Kenny Kawaguchi or something?
Kawaguchi, yeah.
Kawaguchi. I always had Gucci pitching, and Wheeler was like always my shortstop.
I can't remember who I had as a pitcher. I think I can't remember Kenny's little sister or something. It was like
oh yeah, the little ballerina. I think she was in like a ballerina outfit or something.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Carly just there. You go. That's
literally have Putt Putt Goes to the Moon on my phone.
Oh,
I have the whole
fantastic.
Putt Putt, all of the Putt Putt
it.
games on my phone. I also have all the Pajama Sams on my phone.
See, Jace was the Pajama Sammer. I was the Putt Putter way more than Pajama Sam.
Yeah.
See, now I remember you guys having Pajama Sam first.
I played Pajama Sam.
Carly
Sam,
played Pajama Sam with you. I was all about
scared.
the
What is it? Scared of the dark.
Regardless, this is a good content idea. My father used to play the shit out of those games as well, and when Carly was like double elimination tournament in Jace's house, my dad was like, "Oh hell yeah!"
Oh yeah, for the backyard football or the backyard baseball, absolutely.
Everything.
We're doing a tournament.
Look, all of it. We don't care.
Yeah, we're all
That'd
just
be a
doing
great
a
thing to put on YouTube. Just be like, all right.
I feel like if we do that though, we would just have to emulate being at your house. I need like a NASCAR race on in the background.
Yeah, if there's no if there isn't a NASCAR race on your big screen, it's not like we used to go to your house.
Well, I would have to alter this. You'd have to Carly's had her background up. I'll have to find an old picture, and there'll just be our dad's smoking inside with a Miller Lite.
They gotta smoke right there, right at the screen door, so they can blow it out the screen door.
They were just at the door, even though it was still blowing in the house.
Oh my god, you guys just unlocked some weird ass nostalgia memories with me.
I know.
Me and Jace playing Super Nintendo in the other room playing Contra 3 while everybody's out there.
Oh yeah, just playing what was it? Fucking
playing Outburst
or Jack in the Box.
Your mom with her million.
Yeah, Aunt Sheila would be able to type so freaking fast that it was.
Oh yeah,
cat dog.
She's all-time typer.
Yeah. Just
Tina
literally.
Turner.
Everybody in the. Eventually, at some point during the night, everybody stopped going outside to smoke, so it was just 12 people in a single wide trailer just
Yeah.
Ah,
And that's why
childhoods.
I have lung problems, even
Okay,
despite
now
my
that
own
was,
smoking.
there was, I was gonna say, now
All right,
why-
let's
why
reel
was
it in
that
real quick
off?
here. I want to talk about some of these winless teams too, because a lot of these winless teams are people we've talked about being favorites for division winning. So the Bengals, of course, are 0-2. The Chiefs are 0-2. Atlanta is 0-2. The Raiders 0-2. Carolina 0-2. The Steelers 0-2. Chargers 0-2. Browns 0-2. Arizona 0-2. And Washington 0-2. There's a lot. So out of all of these, it doesn't scare me that the Chiefs are 0-2. I mean, they're going to be
No.
the Chiefs. They
Unfortunately.
literally, like, when the Lions hit the field goal to win it, like, Patrick Mahomes was like, "Oh, you got me." Like,
But then
walking
it's
out on
like,
the
it's
field.
preseason.
Yeah, nobody gives a shit. Like,
I'm just imagining him with your face right now doing that, and I'm so aggravated right now.
the Bengals obviously do not have Jamar Chase there. The Falcons obviously have just acquired a bunch of people over the last week or so. Justin Simmons and Judon. But they're also rolling with Kirk Cousins, who hasn't, I don't believe he's stepped on the field yet.
I don't
Still-
even think
I don't
he's
think
starting
so.
week 1.
Yeah, I don't know that
Yeah, that's
he's
what
believed that he's starting.
I don't think so.
Because Penix hasn't seen much time in the preseason at all, and I've heard that it might just because they're protecting him for week 1 because he might need to play.
Yep, I've heard that too. And then do we, really question what their motives were for Penix? I mean, at that point, but them being 0-2 doesn't scare me. I still feel like they are probably their division's favorite.
I would agree, yeah.
The Raiders 0-2, them, and I'm going to talk about this, Jason. I know you're going to get upset, but I'm going to actually sing your team's praises a little bit.
Oh, that's the worst thing you can do. We're cursed now.
I think it was very smart for them to pick up Gardner Minshew and go with him as their starter. Because no, he is not. He is a Trent Dilfer that likes to drink and party.
I should feel good about this. Why?
He won a Super Bowl.
He
Oh, okay, yeah. Our defense is going to be the key this year. We do not have Ray Lewis and Ed Reed like in their literal fucking prime. All right,
You're not wrong. But here's the number one thing: you do have a much improved
God,
defense.
It's gonna get worse.
Oh, no.
And you do, yeah. We're on it. We're on it, Andy. Don't you worry. We're on it right now. So
Yeah, I don't know.
I think that Gardner Minshew is the right choice for the position. Aiden O'Connell did get some of those like starting experience, but he has a diaper for a chin strap, so I can't use that.
You
They're
can't
not.
do
Like,
it
he
either.
just
So
can't. I
distracting.
can't.
What, he
It is so
literally
bad.
just puts an always on the chin and just goes with it.
You can't use that.
I know it's.
But
I'm not really sure why he's
your
so
defense
worried
is
about
you're
it.
going to be your pillar this year with Christian Wilkins on the line with Max Crosby. You're not going to have pass rush problems, which is going to make your secondary look good, which is going to make the run game hard to go against you. So your pillar is going to be the defense. The biggest thing that will decide if Gardner Minshew is the right choice is if he cannot turn over the ball. And historically, he has had those problems. So, yes, I agree. I think he is the best choice, but it all depends on how he focuses on not turning over the ball and being efficient.
Hey Andy, if you're out there, fuck you. I don't.
He texted me. He's like, "Never mind. That actually just happened naturally because Jesse just started saying that before
I got you, Andy.
he ever even texted me that."
He
What a-
messaged in the chat on YouTube, and I was like, I'll do that.
Oh, yeah.
What an absolute righteous prick. Anyhow, no, I was actually going to say that realistically as a Raider fan. I was going to be like, we're 0-2 because we can't figure out who the fuck we want to play this year.
Yeah.
So I don't necessarily. I don't know. I'm in a weird place. Our defense is obviously going to be our centerpiece. Jack Jones, Max Crosby, Christian Wilkins. I think Malcolm Kuntz is a name you're going to hear this year.
Yeah.
But we have like Jacoby, like I could go on and on. The pieces are there. I think our offensive line should be good. Everything is in place. The question mark is just, can that weird mulleted motherfucker not turn the ball over a billion times and think he is Brett Favre's fucking progeny minus the welfare fraud? Like, just tighten it up a little bit. I know, and that's what scares
It
the
kind
fuck
of looks
out of
like
me.
he had a food stamp card at some point in time.
Yeah, but if Favre was his dad, he would have never gotten that money. That's the fucked up thing you got to think about. Yeah, and probably Brett Favre's the type of motherfucker to not pay his child support either, but that's another story for another day. Now, in the history of Raiders, we do have this weird, and I know it was the 80s, and then with Rich Gannon, Jim Plunkett in the 80s, and then Gannon. I do, like, just with him being, like, kind of a cult hero, could this work? But also at the same time, I'm like, I am holding zero fucking hope.
And that's probably the right way to approach it, is not put any expectations on it, so no matter what, you're not disappointed.
God, I'm stressed.
What an optimistic way to look at it.
Yes. So
The season hasn't even started. My blood pressure is rocketing.
that's one of the 0-2 teams that I like to focus on. The Chargers kind of are an interesting one. That whole division is kind of interesting, and we will get to that division later. But like Jim Harbaugh's influence there, I don't think he's historically done well in the preseasons. Like, he doesn't play his starters.
I feel like most smart coaches don't. So
No, yeah.
I don't know why you would. Yeah.
One of the 0-2 teams I would like to touch on now is the quarterback battle with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Should we panic, or should we just take everything with a grain of salt? Because if we think of last year with the Steelers, they were like the preseason MVPs, and then went into the season, and everybody realized that Kenny Pickett can't read a defense.
Well, the problem is that it's not even something to actually like worry about, because the reality is that we are not going to be great no matter what, and pretty much having some football that occasionally is exciting, even if that happens once every couple games, will be a step up from the last 3 seasons of Pittsburgh Steelers football that we've watched. It's a really low bar at this
You're not
point
wrong.
to make your fans somewhat give a shit about what's happening by like the 5th game of the season. So, I mean, as long as we can have some exciting football from time to time, I think that's
The
what
biggest thing that I see with them
that's
right
my
now,
bar. We aren't doing anything outside of that.
No.
That's the bar.
there's really not a lot that's going to happen. Like, this is going to be a mediocre season again, which sucks because I feel like Omar has done a really good job at transforming the team into something that they want. But I also feel like the thing that pivots the barometer of if we're going to do a 11-12 win season or an 8 or 9 win season is the offensive line. And so far in the preseason, they have looked horrendous. Now, Zach Frazier looks great in the center, and I think the 2 guards are very, very above average, serviceable guards. We have Broderick Jones, who is just getting run over. Like, literally a 320-pound man just getting thrown around like a rag doll. And then we have Dan Moore and our rookie. They're supposedly saying the rookie is going to be starting right tackle, and left tackle will be Broderick Jones, with Dan Moore kind of being the rotator. But after seeing Broderick Jones, I don't know if he just can't move to the right. They talk about linemen and moving to the left and moving to the right is a completely different animal in pass protection and everything. So maybe he's just not used to that. But he did play a bunch of games for us at right tackle last year. So I'm not really sure what they're talking about on that one. He got blew up. He looks horrible.
Not to interrupt you, but did you see the quote? I don't know who the reporter was that asked Jones. There's something like about how are you feeling? can't remember what the context of the question was, but they basically asked him like, "How are you feeling?" And he said, "I'm as healthy as I'm going to get."
Mm.
So I think he's
Yeah.
dealing with. I know.
I heard something about a wrist or a thumb.
I think he's dealing with something, and he's really banged up at the moment.
Yeah, I heard something about a wrist or thumb, and he has been wearing an elbow brace since the beginning of camp, which is not something he wore last year. So I know that Dan Moore is not a good left tackle by any means, but it almost seems like get your good guy healthy and let the guy that started in that position for the last 3 years play there. Get the
Yeah,
rookie in on right tackle. I think the center improvement with Zach Frazier is fantastic, but it's all going to be how this offensive line performs.
Did
Who's
you
the guy
figure
who
out
just
Dan
went out?
Moore's not good by using your eyeballs?
What do you mean? Who's the guy that just went out?
Wasn't it Nate Herbig or something?
Yeah,
that
he
just got
was
hurt
the
for them?
center, and he's I think out for the season with a torn rotator cuff.
That's
That-
okay.
yeah,
We
that's what I
just
thought.
drafted one that I think is better anyway, so
Way better.
Okay.
I'm fine with that.
And we got a backup guard that we
Yeah.
drafted late that I believe had some center playing time too.
Both of
McCormick.
those drop snaps to Justin Fields were Herbig.
He did not deserve to be a center.
No.
And one thing that Tomlin does is do that whole, you're a veteran, so I'm going to give you the benefit even though you suck, which pisses me off to no end. But who am I?
Didn't they just draft Herbig?
No, Herbig was free agent pickup
I bel-
last season, who was off the scrap heap of the Jets, I believe.
Well, because y'all do that thing, everybody's got to be a family.
Yep.
Fine,
We
one
drafted
gotta have
the
the
outside
fullback.
linebacker, his younger brother, who is Herbig.
Yeah, gotta have Cam Hayward. Let's
Yeah, didn't make any sense.
and
So,
just
yeah,
nepotism high.
I don't have a lot of faith in this team. I looked at the schedule and thought, oh man, the early schedule doesn't look bad. They could come in really hot into the middle of the season, have that really tough schedule, probably lose a few of the games, but like they could still have a pretty good record if they come out hot early. And the more and more I see the offense, Russell Wilson hasn't got to practice with the team, and it's hard to do anything when you haven't practiced with the
He's
starters.
had like a calf, I think.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, why isn't he
Yeah.
practicing with the
He's
team?
had a calf issue all off season.
Yeah, literally since camp started, he injured his
Yeah.
calf, and he.
Well,
has
then
not
what are they
been-
throwing him in there in the preseason for behind that shamble of an offensive line? That's the real question.
Exactly. Yeah. And I guess that in the second quarter they wanted to pull him out, but he said no and stayed in. He wanted to stay in and get the reps. And then they put him in for the 2-minute, like put Justin Fields in for the 2-minute drill at the end. Nothing made sense the way they handled that game. Anyway, moving on from them though, I think the 0-2 is actually a good indicator of what is to come. Obviously the Panthers at 0-2, they're going to be
Bad.
feeding the bottom again. I still feel like the Giants, Patriots, and Panthers are all the bottom three that'll probably be fighting for last. It's just the way it seems to me. All right, so let's do this. Let's go
So
down
we have
to
some talk in the chat about the Texans. We get a Texans fan in here.
Oh, didn't see that. Where'd it go? I gotta evidently open
Andy
up the chat
and a Spoon Barrett.
Oh, there we
Man.
are. Why does this thing not? I wanted the pop-up chat.
I gotta pull up our YouTube to see who all is.
I'm watching it. Yeah.
Yeah, so sure. Let's talk about the Texans real quick because they have looked actually pretty phenomenal.
Andy's saying
then
Jay's
maybe
having his
not that
hands in
far
his
back.
face before the preseason is over is the content we all need.
What? Wait, what? I missed that.
Andy, his comment, he said Jay's having his face in hands before the preseason is over is the content we all need.
So glad all my so-called friends are.
Yeah, a lot of
Taking
talk about
pride
the
in your
Texans.
misery.
Apparently,
it's basically the same people that I have on this fucking on this panel that can just laugh at my misery.
Yeah.
Friends like these folks.
That's all right. You guys will probably still be better than the Steelers, so you're good.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Thank you.
That'll be a
It's a
nice-
very low bar.
That'd be
Thank
a
you.
nice, fun game to play. But yeah, we can talk about the. Let's take a look. Where were we on the divisions here? I think the
Souths and West. I
Yeah, so
believe.
let's just go right into the AFC South now because I believe it's the South and West we haven't spoke to. So let's just go right into the AFC South. I think it's pretty obvious that the Texans have catapulted themselves into being the favorites in this division. I
Easily.
worry about the sophomore slump with CJ because it always seems to happen. And a lot of people are putting him already in like the top 5, top 7, whatever quarterbacks in the league right now. And I'm like, okay, you've had one season. Yes, he did phenomenal on a team that was not expected to do as phenomenal as it was. And they did get some pieces, which I'm actually not sure why they went out and got Diggs when they had Nico and Tank Dell and the wide receiving core
not?
they had. But when you get them, you know, add another guy to it.
Who's their number one receiver? I
If you know, please tell me because I'm trying to
literally,
figure it out.
yeah, like
Do
it's
we
insane.
It's
does
possible for
Diggs have more
3
touchdowns this year or outbursts?
outbursts for sure.
Oh, for sure.
I'm glad we're on the same page on that.
Yes, outbursts
But
for
they
sure.
most likely traded for Diggs just to put as much talent around CJ Stroud because that's what good teams do. When you find your quarterback, you just surround them with talent and let them go.
The biggest
Joe
problem they
Mixon.
have right now is the run game, and they bring in Joe Mixon, like Carly's saying.
Which he is serviceable, you know.
Well, their problems
I don't
don't
think
really
Joe
come from the
Mixon's as
running
good
back.
as people think he is, but he's
I
serviceable.
think,
Well, he's probably, I think he's 28 now. I mean, he's
Yeah,
got
he's
a lot
getting
of
old.
miles on him from Cincinnati. I mean, it's hard to say what we're going to get out of Joe
Yeah.
Mixon, but
I
It'll
think
be
this
better
is
than
one of
Damian
those.
Pierce,
well, yeah.
but that's
Yeah,
also
everybody
far
had such high hopes for Damian Pierce to come out and be just like a bulldozer out there, and he has not even close to lived up to expectations. But is it him or is it the line? Because there was a lot of problems with that offensive line. So
Well, I think a lot of this is it's kind of weird. It's usually the inverse. It's usually you bring a veteran running back in to help a young quarterback, and I think in this case, people are going to be shitting their pants so scared of Stroud. It's going to help Mixon a lot.
yeah, no,
You could
they
be
were
right
one of
about that.
the top play action teams last year in their play calling. I think it was top 5 in the league on play action calls. So they really utilized the run, even though they didn't have a good run game. They used the play action to their favor. So, yeah, I think it's their division to take. The Colts could compete, but it's all gonna depend on Anthony Richardson and how he progresses back into the lineup after his injury last year, which I believe was a shoulder injury, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it was
I think so.
either like an AC.
Yeah, like AC joint or something like
He
that.
had
Shoulder
multiple
injury.
injuries.
Yeah,
He had
that was,
multiple.
I think, the one that put him out for the rest of the season.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Which is not an easy thing to come back when your job is throwing the ball a million times a day.
Yeah, there's not a large enough sample size on Anthony Richardson for me to really have a good enough feel for what he's going to be. I know
Those are
everyone's
4
really
games.
excited about him, and his ceiling is very high. But until I see him do it, they can't be the favorite in the division for me.
Yeah,
So I've
absolutely.
seen a lot of they're doing, I believe the Bengals and them are doing joint practice right now, and the big thing that a lot of the beat
I
writers
heard.
is they're getting quotes from like the Bengals defensive players anonymously. They're like, "This dude sucks. Like
He
all
can't
he
read
wants to do is
defenses.
run
Yeah.
the ball. He wants to throw to a spot. He can't read a
Mm-hmm.
defense. Like,
Yep.
and again, it's preseason, so don't put too much stock into it. But holy shit, like if that's you're a second year quarterback and this much hype on your shoulders, I don't think you should be necessarily hearing these things in preseason.
Yeah, because I think they even talked to him at one point, and he was saying like, "Oh, I feel almost 100%," and they're like, "Ooh."
Not what
You
you want
know?
to hear.
So, yeah, I think their season's really going to depend on his performance. Jonathan Taylor coming back and being healthy will definitely help.
I also
Colts
love
get up
Shane Steichen. I think he's a great play caller, and if Anthony Richardson can stay healthy, I feel like the potential for their offense with him calling the plays is very good. But like you said, everything depends on whether or not he can play for 17 games.
Right, big time. And then we have the Jags and Titans. Will Levis starting for the Titans, and then the $45-50 million man and and
Trevor
Trevor
Lawrence.
Lawrence.
The next Andrew Luck, yeah.
Yeah, like I sit back and I look at that
Oh
contract.
shit! I'm fucking dead. Sorry.
All I hear is
I
Mara
didn't
laughing
mean to
back.
unmute myself. I apologize. Fucking. Sorry.
Okay. Thank you for that.
Sorry.
Moving on.
Mara's friend is here, and it was just a joke, and I accidentally unmuted myself. I apologize.
So the Jags are like I cannot even fathom how they justified giving him that money. Like I can
'Cause that's
understand
Have to
he
do.
was like,
Whenever your quarterback's up, you have to pay them. It just is what it is. Like they don't have a better option. Like what are they going to do?
they don't have a better option. They put a lot of investment into him, and he has not paid any dividends to them at all with what he's done for them.
In his defense, his rookie season was completely destroyed by Urban Meyer, and that team was a complete disaster. Like that's going to set anybody back. Luckily, he has an actual competent head coach in Doug Peterson now. Like their first year together, the Jaguars were good. Like they took a step back last year. I don't really understand what that was about, but
Yeah.
everyone's kind of writing them off this year. I don't think that they're actually going to be as bad as what everyone makes them out to be. Like there's a chance that they could compete with the Texans because, I mean, the Texans have to play a first-place schedule now. They're the NFL's darling. Everyone's going to be watching for C.J. Stroud. Everyone's going to be gunning for them. Like, I wouldn't rule out the Jaguars entirely. Like, they'll be in the wild card mix at least.
I could see it. I don't know because if
Your
they're
love for Doug Peterson shining through.
yeah, I
That could
don't
be it,
see
I
them.
suppose, but
I just don't see them
you admit
being
to it.
over a 7-win team this year, just because they just don't. They don't feel like they have all the pieces around them. When you get Calvin Ridley, like, and you can't utilize them, and then you just bail on them after a year,
Them last year.
like.
is that them, though, or is that Calvin Ridley? That's the thing. Like, I don't. Dude also only played, well, no, what? He was suspended for a year.
Yeah.
Was out of football and then came back, and like most players that are gone for that long aren't actually, they don't come back and perform very well. So
Right.
we'll see what him with Levis, but
I bought into him last year in fantasy
You
so
did.
bad because I thought that was going to be like, yes, he's back, like he's going to be great, and I may as well have just gone and fucked my.
Yep, I'm with you.
well, now that everyone's counting him out, that means he's going to be great.
Why didn't you tell me that you were in on him last year too, Jesse? Because otherwise I would have fucking stayed away from him.
I was in on him until week 3, and then I was like, nope, no longer in on him.
Yeah, no.
Chelsea,
Oh,
I think, drafted him.
That's about when my fascination ended. Like he had like one good week, and that was it the entire season.
That's it. And Spoon makes a good point. He drops a lot of passes, but he is a good route runner.
Yeah.
And he's not wrong. He just he's a little bit
And
Nelson Aguilar like.
Jesse Baden, 500 teams. At 0.500 teams. So what? What?
Andy likes to bring up all the times he's been on the show. He's like, yeah, I mean, they're a 500 team. Yeah, they're a 500 team. Yeah, they're a 500 team.
Kevin knows. Oh, I think they'll go 8-8 this year. Man.
Yeah, I think that was one of Kevin's favorites. Is just saying everybody was going 8-8.
Texans D doesn't have it.
So, I think in my opinion, it goes Texans, Colts, Titans, Jags. That's honestly how I feel. It could swap the Jags and Titans at the end of there. But that's kind of how I feel with that division at this point.
I would swap. I think depending on Anthony Richardson's health and if he. So we always talk about, like, I know I brought it up when we talked about Jordan Love. You see the regression in second-year quarterbacks, even the guys that do eventually go on to be either Pro Bowl caliber or Hall of Fame caliber. We talk about I think the Packers should be good, but you should see some regression from Jordan Love. I think you're going to see the same thing from C.J. Stroud, but he's still going to continue to play at a high level.
Right.
We saw Anthony Richardson for 3 games last year. All this hype is around him, and now everybody thinks they should be right behind the Texans as far as a division.
Yeah, it's really hard to judge what Anthony Richardson's going to do.
I'm not buying it. I will take the Texans, the Jags, then the Colts, then.
Okay, I feel it.
I agree with Jace. Like, I think that there's a good chance the Jaguars are like at least the second best team in the division.
And
The
anytime
Titans,
me
there's
and
no
you
way.
agree on anything, we are the voices of reason. So take it to the bank.
It's a lock.
Yep.
It's a lock.
Go ahead and make that 4-leg parlay for
Right now, yeah.
finishing places on FanDuel or whatever for that
Yeah.
division.
Texans, Jags, Colts, Titans. Lock it in.
Lock it in.
All right, I can see it. The only thing that gives me the push of the Colts over is having a healthy Jonathan Taylor back. That's the biggest thing for me. Is that if they have him healthy and back,
You still
they
have to
can
throw the
control the
football,
games.
though. And if Anthony Richardson doesn't become a great passer and they're too reliant on the run, then defenses are just going to stack the box. And if he can't read defenses, like, there's a lot of scenarios in which Anthony Richardson doesn't look what people expect him to be. So,
Yeah, no, you're not wrong. Carly, any other
We
takes
shall
before we
see.
move to the next division here?
No, not really. I mean, the Spoon
You have
here,
the
the
Jags and the
Texans fan.
bottoms.
Yeah, I do. Yeah. Well, either the Jags or the Titans. I mean, I feel like either of them could be the bottom, but
give my
I
boy
just
WP some credit.
I just don't believe in the Jags too much. I don't believe in Trevor Lawrence. That's what it is for me. I don't personally believe that Trevor Lawrence is really all that great.
Yeah, no, that's where I
And I think
have
that's the
my
problem for me.
reservations with too is Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah.
All right,
And
let's move
obviously
on.
Calvin Ridley.
You mean Sunshine from Remember the Titans?
Yeah, right. Let's move
we
on
have
to
another
the
random chatter saying Seahawks rule. Nice.
Yes, love it.
That-
Thank you, Scott.
That is a crazy old man that I'm actually surprised he can work his phone well enough to sign into the guy, so ignore him.
We have a whole 12 years right now. I just want you to know that's probably the most
Wow.
years we've ever had in the show.
This
just went to
is
13.
literally
That's probably
this is
Jace
just
opening
all
it.
the degenerates from the high level crew.
You're probably not wrong. All right, let's move on to the next division there, and Jace is going to get a big old Woody from this. So we're going to talk about the AFC West here. Obviously, to no one's surprise, the favorite to win the division is the Chiefs. The favorite for the Super Bowl is the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Fucking Patrick Mahomes bitching about Travis Kelce running the wrong route and decides to just flip the ball behind his back to him for a first down. Like a fucking asshole. Like,
He
It
did it in
sucks.
practice too.
Dan
He was doing it in
Marino.
practice, and people were like, "Will he do it in a game?" And then he did it in a preseason game.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. It's a rough
At least
one.
he's a funner. Like, I mean, let's be honest here. Between him and like Brady, I understand that he has a long way to go to be a Brady, but like, I would so much rather watch Patrick Mahomes play football than Brady just running a system for fucking 20 years. Like,
Yeah. No,
at
you're
least
not
Patrick
wrong.
Mahomes is fun to watch, you know?
He's got
I could
athleticism.
reach through this screen
different
and
generational
scramble
thing,
you
though.
where you are. It is not fun.
Well, yeah.
Not for
Fun?
you. Well,
Not
Fun?
for you, but he's a fun quarterback to watch. I mean, at least he's more
I
fun.
mean, I'm
than-
tired of him, but
Well, everybody's tired of seeing him, but I mean, at least like he does like interesting stuff, and he's not just like I don't know throwing
I
to
don't-
Chris
I don't know if
Hogan.
I'm gonna
Well, the
be able to
NFL
on the
is a
sideline.
very
I might not
interesting.
be able to do this division. I might just have to go sit this one out because I'm already just getting.
The
Well, just
NFL
wait
is
till we
a
move to the
very
Raiders. Hold on.
interesting dynamic when you have a successful team. There's a lot of leagues, and most professional sports, I guess, in a sense, get that way. But I feel like the NFL is very, very, very much like you win one time, you win the second time, now we fucking hate you. Like, it's like, oh, that's so great. Really happy to see it. Good for him. Now let somebody else do it. Oh wait, you did it again? All right, now I don't like you. Oh, you're in the AFC Championship again?
Oh,
Okay, this is
that does get
absolutely
really-
well,
bullshit.
yeah. At
right
what
now.
point is the
It just
same
gets
team being
annoying.
there every year bad for the NFL? Like, there's no
Yeah.
variety.
Yeah.
I mean, by
And
the
that's how
time
it
the
felt with
Patriots,
Brady.
like Tom Brady left the
Oh, well, yeah.
Patriots, nobody
just
even
swapped.
cared. Nobody was even like, did anybody even watch half of those Super Bowls? You had them on, but like, did you care?
No.
Because you just
No,
knew that the
everyone just
Patriots were gonna
rooted
fucking
against
win
the
anyway.
Patriots. Yeah.
Yeah, literally. It just got to a point where it was like, well, this is just what do you know? It's another Tom Brady Super Bowl, and it's gonna end up being the same way.
Here's the point I'm at with the Chiefs, though, and to this point, it could never happen, and they could just always, which probably will happen because my enemies always prosper and everything I hate flourishes. But
My enemies
even
always
we
prosper.
had the year that fucking Brady, I believe, if memory serves me, I think it was Jared Allen, when the first year he played for the Chiefs, sacking Brady that year that he tore his ACL week 1, and then it was the Matt Castle show.
Yeah.
And they still won 11 games, I believe, too.
Yeah.
No, I think they went 8-8 and they just missed the playoff.
The Matt Castle year? I
I
don't
believe
know.
so. Oh, I
have to
think they
check on
missed the
that one, but-
playoffs. They may have had. A
Yeah, no, I think they had a winning record and missed the playoffs. I think you're right about that.
I think they did miss the playoffs, but that is my. I may be a hater. Quote me. You can
That's
say whatever
fine.
you want. But it's just Kelsey. Like, they have managed to get through every year where their key players do not get hurt. Like, we've seen the Mahomes like that. I think it was going into the playoffs when his ankle was banged up. And they were saying, "Oh, he probably needs surgery," and like, it's very unprecedented for any franchise, regardless of how great they are. I mean, you can look at the Yankees, the Celtic, like, just go through and just.
It was an 11-5 record, by the way.
Did they make the playoffs?
I don't think so.
But missed the playoffs.
Yeah. Once you said that, it sounded right.
You missed the playoffs.
Well, that was
how insane is
two
It was
wild cards
2008,
back then.
and I think that was
yeah.
also the season the Steelers went, if I remember correctly, against Green Bay. But yeah, they missed the playoffs
wouldn't
and went
remember.
11-5.
Yeah, I think so.
That wasn't 2000.
I think it was
that
09.
2009.
Yeah.
Well, Maybe.
No, you're right. Because it was 2 years before you guys went and I think beat the Cardinals, correct?
Yes, correct.
Okay, then yeah, it was 2008.
Yep, because drafted Ben. Yeah, drafted Ben in 04, went the following season, so 05 to 06 season. Then it was 2 years later, the 08 to 09 season, we went against Green Bay and lost, thanks to Mendenhall's fumble.
All right, yeah. There's no doubt the Chiefs probably. God, it's like battery acid coming out of my mouth. They should win the division, but it would be. Bill Russell got hurt. Like, Kobe got hurt. Like, the greatest, and you can't even take it away from the greatest players in the history of any sport. That most of them, 98% of them, have had some form of injury history. And it just seems like year after year, Mahomes gets away with doing all that magician shit, and he's one lineman falling the wrong way and rolling up on him from a whole lot of shit going bad.
Yep. Not wrong.
So I will say the Chiefs will probably win the division, and you can put an asterisk next to that, barring catastrophic injury that has been due like 3 years overdue by now.
Catastrophic.
It'll catch up to them eventually, I'm afraid.
Well, but even Kelsey's like, he's still elite. He's still great.
34.
He is very well past his useful age, and he is past his expired date.
They did some major load management on him in the middle of the season last year. Like, he wasn't playing. They didn't unleash him until the playoffs. They're like, yeah, we know we'll get there. All we need to do is get there. Then we'll just flip a switch, and we're just going to take out Buffalo and Baltimore, and then the Super Bowl. So
somebody's got to manage his loads, because if you ever listen to a Taylor Swift song, she ain't. But anyhow,
no, you're not wrong.
No, if you listen, like, I listened to him and his brother's podcast a lot last year, and like, one of the things he was saying, like, I don't know if it was nearing the end of the season or if it was like before the beginning of the season last year, but like, he was just saying that, like, he has had so many surgeries. Because, like, even, like, as a football, like, you have, like, little tiny surgeries that, like, you're not out for, you're not injured for, but he has to have shit worked on, like, constantly. I think he said something like he's had, like, 30-some surgeries in the last, like, 2 years to, like, fix some things up and make it, like, basically put him back together after playing a season of football, and he's just, like... Because I think it was when Kelsey, the other Kelsey, was talking about retiring, and... he was like, yeah, I could definitely see where you're coming from on that, because I'm tired of having surgeries and
You
messing
gotta
with
think
all
of
this
how
stuff.
many
And,
knee scopes they got to get done,
well, yeah, that's stuff
and
like that. That's
chipped bones floating in their shoulder blade or some bullshit that they got
pretty
to get
much, yeah, stuff like that.
removed.
Just cleaned up stuff, cleaned up and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like he was complaining about that like last year before the season started. I'm pretty sure. So
I mean,
It's
if they
definitely
weren't still good, he wouldn't still be playing. He would be like, if
Right.
their team was bad, he'd be gone. But
yeah,
That's it.
yeah.
I
Why
mean,
not have
so
collect a couple more rings?
yeah, unfortunately.
obviously we think that they're going to be the division winner here, but who do you think is a playoff team in this?
I think it's just
And
them.
Really, you think there's not another playoff team that's going to make it from this division?
A rookie quarterback and Bo Nix, I don't see it. The Chargers, like, they don't have
Yeah.
anyone on that roster. I mean, Jim Harbaugh's a good coach. He's a proven good NFL coach, but I don't see it with their current roster construction. They're on a rebuild. The Raiders, I mean, the 7th seed would be the ceiling, in my opinion. Like, I feel like, depending on how good the AFC North is, like, yeah, because 3 teams out of that division last
Yeah,
year
as long
made
as
it.
we
like,
don't all, yeah, as long as the
Yeah.
AFC doesn't
Like, it's
just all
tough
like all
because-
go to the freaking
Right.
playoffs, because yeah, that's how it's
Mhm.
been.
But
Yeah,
no,
no.
I would say odds favor it'll be just the Chiefs. But if there were a team to make the wild card, it would be the Raiders out of all of them.
Really, because
I don't understand why the Chargers don't just trade Justin Herbert at this point. They have nothing. What?
Well, he's
like,
young.
why-
They just paid him.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
but what are they gonna do in the next 5 years for him? Nothing. I would just trade him.
It has kept
rebuild.
me up at night. The thought of having Patrick Mahomes to deal with, and just I have had actual nightmares of what if the Chargers weren't just a completely inept, horseshit organization that is a joke, and they were actually able, like Justin Herbert, talent wise, wipes the floor with Patrick Mahomes. Like arm talent, that is a take that I will die on. Herbert is an immensely cool. Like I'll put it this way: Mahomes is a great all around, and he's very good at the improvising and everything. But just as like if you were to like compare somebody to like a Marino or something like that, like a true old school drop back and fire it passer.
Well, yeah. Imagine if Justin Herbert had Andy Reid. That's really what it is.
Yeah,
Patrick
exactly.
Mahomes is in the
That's what-
perfect situation.
That is my nightmare. Is if you could clone Andy Reid and give them both that, it would be fucking horrifying. But no,
But no, he had
now,
Brandon Staley, so you know.
I hated him for most of his career, but I grew to appreciate him, especially after that game, that AFC Championship game. I can't remember who the Chargers played. It might have been the Patriots, when they literally went, Phillip Rivers has a torn ACL. He can barely move. And they lost, I think it was the Patriots, and they lost like what, on a field goal by 3?
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
There's a season the
It was-
Chargers were number 1 defense and offense and didn't make the playoffs.
No, they were in the
I
playoffs.
know they were in the championship game in the year he's
Yeah, they
referring to.
Yeah, they were in the championship game against
It was the
somebody. And
It was the Patriots, yeah.
Right.
talk about having some fucking. We know he has balls because he's got 19 children. But Phillip Rivers, like,
Somehow.
that game made me. I hated him. I hated Breeze. I hated LT. All of them. That was the first game where I was like, I respect the fuck out of Phillip Rivers. That is a guy who wants to win, and he is a competitor. And I am actually to the point where I have seen enough AFC West football that I feel horrible that I am literally watching Justin Herbert, and I am old enough now to not be angry and be like, I can appreciate the talent, but oh my God, this is just Rivers 2.0. They are going to fucking waste this dude.
2010, the Chargers failed to improve on their previous season at 13-3 and went 9-7, missing the playoffs, and were noted of having the number 1 offense and defense, number 1 ranked
That's
offense and
what we were
defense.
talking about.
But
What
I
fucking-
said that. That's what I said.
Okay, that's-
I said there was a year they both had the number 1
Wow.
offense and defense
Yeah.
and missed the playoffs. That's what we're talking about with how the Chargers are a little bit Jets-like.
Unlucky.
It was like I was misunderstanding what you were saying
Okay.
because you were like,
As was I. Yeah.
yeah.
No, I wasn't talking about
No,
your
that is
specific.
true.
I was just stating that as that's why they're so horrible sometimes.
I mean, they tried to kill Tyrod Taylor. mean, Jesus Christ. I mean, what else do you really
I
need to
forgot
know
about that.
about a dysfunctional organization? I mean,
Well, we have a request in the chat to talk about the Seahawks. So do
Well,
we move
we
to
can
the
move-
NFC
Oh, we have
West?
to
Yeah, we
finish
can
the
move right
AFC
over
West
to
first.
them because, like, right now, the Broncos, Chiefs, Raiders, Chargers. I think we're pretty solid on
Yeah,
Chiefs
I mean,
winning it.
Well, who's
If-
you guys' two?
whoa. We haven't even gotten to talk
Yeah, you haven't
about
even talked to the
at
Raiders.
all here.
Yeah.
You're just
We went
you're
Chiefs
you're
and
completely
Chargers.
glossing
and-
over that. You know.
All right, go for it.
No,
You guys,
Take it
we
away,
did talk
Jason.
about them
Go for it.
earlier, and the big thing is
we were talking about them earlier. That's the only reason I was.
Yeah.
'Cause, yeah.
I will make it short. This is a team that if the defense plays well, we will do great. I think the offensive line is going to do enough, and it really. I wanted AOC, but I really don't think it matters who's going to be a quarterback because they're going to hand the ball off to Zamir White 35 times a game, and you have now Brock Bowers, Michael Mayer, and then Jacoby Myers and Devontae Adams as basically your 4 top offensive weapons. I fucking hate you, Jesse. I really hate you. But you're right in the fact that if Gardner Minshew just does the Trent Dilfer and scores 16 to 20 points a game, it might actually, knock on wood, I may be overestimating this defense, but I think it may be enough to win us the game every
yeah.
I don't love that comparison at all, but I really do. Call me biased. Do whatever you want. I think we are the clear-cut, definitive second-place team in this division. And like
the only
Jesse
one
said,
I can
think
see you competing with it is the Chargers, and it's just because of Jim Harbaugh. It's not really anything like of logic behind it.
Give
It's
me the
just because
Raiders.
he can fill.
it's not even Harbaugh. It's just like I said. It's just
The
Herbert
team.
is so immensely talented. They are going to go as far as he can take them.
Yeah,
But then they are fucking cursed, so it will
Yeah,
only be.
They
that
really
actually is
fucking
just the
are.
reality. Is that they're actually just cursed. So
yeah.
And
100%.
the Raiders, I do think sneak into the playoffs, but the AFC is going to be crowded. So.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough AFC to get into there. So I think we all
But
go
I
what?
will-
Chiefs, Raiders, Chargers, Broncos.
I like Chiefs, Raiders, Broncos, Chargers.
yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, I'd probably put the Broncos ahead. We'll
Then the
see.
Raiders?
I mean, ahead of the Chargers, I think.
Well, yeah, that's what I said. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'd go
agree with
Chiefs, Raiders, Chargers, Broncos.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, I see the
do
Broncos
think,
being somewhat
asterisk,
competitive.
I do think, in spite of the Sean Payton hate, and I do think Bo Nix does have the tools. But there's another thing to talk about. We've had, Brock Osweiler, Paxton Lynch. Oh, how many people have just Elway's not there anymore, but it just seems like they draft tall white quarterbacks that aren't named Josh Allen, and that's where they go to die.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
That's fair.
Nix has the talent, but it's not this year.
Nope, I agree. All right, well, then let's move on to the NFC West then. We have the Cardinals, Rams, Niners, Seahawks, defending Super Bowl losers with the Niners. And then Cardinals with the new head coach and Dan Quinn and...
No,
excuse
that's-
me, I'm
That's
thinking
Washington. Yeah.
wrong. They were new head coach. Who was their new head coach?
The Cardinals is Jonathan Gannon.
That's it.
He-
Sorry, I was
yeah.
confusing the two.
But he's not new. He
Yeah,
got hired last year.
That's right. From last year. I'm sorry. I'm thinking of the friggin'
Commanders.
yeah.
Commanders.
For some reason, I'm thinking of the Commanders instead of the Cardinals. Anyway, Cardinals, Rams, and then the Seahawks. Seahawks actually getting rid of Pete Carroll, while also kind of keeping Pete Carroll, trying to
Yeah,
at least
he's like some sort of like assistant.
advisor or something
Yeah.
along that size. So, I think the biggest question, again, this is that division where we all fully expect the 49ers to take the division. That is kind of the way it looks. Another year
Yeah.
of
Yeah,
Purdy.
I don't know.
I was gonna
I
say,
don't know.
we'll see.
I don't know about that.
Ooh,
I'm not a
okay.
Purdy believer.
Well, we know
I don't
you guys
believe
are
in
That
not
Purdy.
Purdy
team,
believers.
the amount of drama going
Yeah.
on that team.
Yeah,
like,
Yeah,
I don't
and
know.
like all the Ayuk shit, like I don't know. I just
President
McCaffrey's a
and
hurt.
VP of the Brock Purdy Haters Club president. So
yeah.
What was it?
Yeah.
Trent Williams is holding out.
correct. Ayuk holding
Brandon
out.
Ayuk is holding in, whatever the hell you want to call
Or
it.
whatever the hell, same thing. Yeah.
Yeah. And they go, oh, we don't have any money to pay you, but we're just going to give a brand new contract to CMC, which evidently freed up cap space in them doing it now and kind of pushed it down the road later. I see the 49ers very similar to the Rams of like 3 years ago, where they just spent all this money on a bunch of
Paid
people
to win, yeah.
trying to buy a Super Bowl. And I'm starting to see that that's kind of what the Niners are right now. They missed their chance last year, and I don't know if they're going to have too many more. Because after they go through, I think it's Purdy's up after this year.
I was gonna say Purdy's only
Yes.
gonna be paid the league minimum for being the last pick in the draft for
Yep,
another
for
year.
one more year. Yeah.
So,
So
So
after
if they
that,
don't do it this year,
they're going to be fucked. That's why I don't think they want to jump into these giant contracts, because they know they're going to have to pay Purdy, and they're not going to have the money to pay Purdy if they jump into these giant contracts.
Nor do they want to pay Purdy.
I don't know about that.
yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't want to. They're going to have to
wouldn't
pay him like top dollar, and he's not an elite quarterback.
Yeah.
He's great in that system.
Yeah.
Kyle Shanahan can make anybody look good, as far as I'm
I am
concerned.
not
Okay,
out
but
of the
why
hate
didn't
train
he?
like y'all are.
Why didn't he with
Yeah, I mean,
Garoppolo?
Jimmy Garoppolo. Like, if you pull up Jimmy Garoppolo and Brock Purdy stats and Kyle Shanahan's system, they're pretty much identical. I know Jace doesn't agree with that because Garoppolo was bad on the Raiders, but there's a massive difference. There's a massive difference between Kyle Shanahan's system and Josh McDaniel's system. That is why Garoppolo looked terrible on the Raiders. But whenever you're throwing these wide open passes,
You
to
see what
Deebo
you're
Samuel,
doing. You're making me drink.
pop her open.
I don't
it's,
agree with the Brock Purdy hate. I really don't.
Okay, well, where would you rank him? Like, how many quarterbacks are better than Brock Purdy? I feel like it's a longer list than you probably realize.
Okay, I'm going to say,
Go,
remember
hit
about
me.
5 years ago, we had the Andy Dalton line. There was the Andy Dalton line. Everybody below it was your shit quarterbacks. Everybody above it was your serviceable starters, kind of thing. I think that Purdy is above that Andy Dalton line, if not the Andy Dalton line of the current league.
Well,
Okay, well, I want you to literally list
All right,
quarterbacks.
here we go. All right, let's do it.
That was the Andy Dalton line, and then for like 3 years it was the Dak Prescott line, and now he's graduating.
I would take Dak over Purdy, and I hate the Cowboys, so.
yeah.
Well,
There's a lot of quarterback guys.
the
I get
grass
Kyle
is
Shanahan would
green
probably love to
and the
have.
sky is blue. So,
All right, let's look. So, Bills, Josh Allen, I'd list above him. Tua, I'd probably list above him. I don't know that I Tua is a definition of Tua is the definition of a system quarterback. Without Mike McDaniels, Tua would be garbage.
Yeah, Mike
Yeah.
McDaniels is Kyle Shanahan light. Didn't he come from fucking Kyle
Yeah.
Shanahan?
Yeah.
I think so.
But like the
Same deal.
Tua is
I think he did. Or he could be a McVay guy. I don't know.
the Miami
he's a
Dolphins
McVay
are
guy.
very similar
Yeah.
to the 49ers in the sense of they have a offensive minded genius at coaching and can make a lot of players look better than they are. And also surrounding them. Thank you. Matt says the same thing. Tua is a system quarterback. And I agree with that.
I mean, I'm not saying
Tua would
that,
be
but
one
it
of
was
those
just,
that
it was
I'd
just you saying
maybe-
that he was probably better. than
Maybe
Okay, keep going.
probably put him.
Keep going.
All right.
Before we
So
move on,
I don't
Jesse,
think
you
I'd
were
put Aaron
right.
Rodgers above him.
Those guys were not. They weren't McVay guys. Remember? You were
Yeah.
just bringing up
You didn't
Josh
have
McDaniels.
coffee with
They-
Sean McVay one
they
time.
were all Jay Gruden guys under the fucking Washington Commanders. Well, the Redskins now. It's like, Sean McVay, Kyle Shan. Like,
Oh, well, yeah.
there was like a billion offensive geniuses that were working under that system.
And then Jay
they all-
Gruden, that was just the hot,
Wait,
steamy
who was the
pile
head
of
coach on
garbage.
that? Yeah.
Okay, moving on. AFC North. Obviously, I have to say Lamar, but I do not think
not
Lamar.
Rodgers.
I'm not saying Rodgers. No, I don't think that he's going to.
You got to finish the quarterback listed for at least.
Yeah.
Okay, Ravens. Lamar. I have to say him because he was, last year's MVP.
All right,
I do not feel like he is a good passer, but I have to say him.
Okay.
I
So
agree.
that's 3 already.
Burrow, I'd put ahead of him, obviously. I
Yeah.
would not put
I already
Watson
wrote-
ahead of him.
You,
And I
you
would not.
mispronounced Slim Shady.
Yeah. I would not put Deshaun Watson ahead of him, and I would not put Russell Wilson ahead of him.
You wouldn't? Okay.
No. CJ Stroud probably would put him ahead of him.
Without question.
Yeah.
That was
Any-
gonna be probably.
anybody-
Probably.
Yeah. I'd put him ahead of
Kyle
him.
Shanahan would die to have CJ
Yeah,
Stroud.
you would.
Hottest take of the season is Jesse would rather have CJ
Maybe
Stroud.
Stroud's
I'm
better
talking
than
to-
Purdy.
Maybe.
Everybody else in that division with the Colts, Jags, and Titans, I wouldn't put any of them ahead of him. Obviously, Patrick Mahomes I'd
That
put
is
ahead
a
of
Kevin
him.
level take.
And Justin Herbert I'd put ahead of him. But the other two in that division. So what? I have 8 now, I think?
And that's just the AFC.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying. He's the new Andy
because
Dalton
he's
line.
bad.
Well, yeah.
Cowboys, Dak. Yeah, I'd put Dak ahead of him just barely, but I'd put him ahead of him. And then
They're
Jalen Hurts
similar.
I'd put ahead of him. Daniel Jones and Jalen Daniels I wouldn't put ahead of him.
Yeah,
Caleb
can't judge Jaden
Williams.
Daniels.
Right. I would probably say that Caleb
What about Jordan
Williams, Jordan Love and Jared Goff. I feel like if you're going down the list, they're probably like 12 and 13 on that list. And then the Vikings have
Purdy's
Sam
after that.
Darnold. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. You guys didn't hear me when I said middle of the pack is 16.
Well, no, I understand that, but everyone's saying that we hate Brock Purdy. We're just saying that he's not an elite quarterback like everyone's
No,
making him
I'm
out to
not
be.
saying
It's
he's
not
elite.
anything crazy.
Falcons, I
That's why
definitely
they
put
should
Cousins in front
dump
of
him and draft somebody else. Because you could put anybody who has
Correct.
I would probably
half a
not
fucking brain
put Baker
on that
Mayfield in
offense.
front of him.
Dump him
Jay
off with
Skidden.
somebody else.
First of all, you saying Jordan Love and Jared Goff are 12th and 13th is bewildering.
Yeah,
It is
they're Andy.
absolutely wild. But we'll gloss over that one and I wanted to cut in with this one with my hatred for Kirk Cousins. I would take Brock Purdy over him. I would take a pile of dog shit over him.
Okay. Bear with
Well-
me then. If we're going to talk about 12 and 13, it might be 11 and 12, but let me go through it. Patrick Mahomes,
Same range.
number 1. Josh Allen, number 2. Joe Burrow, number 3. Lamar Jackson, probably number 4 in that sense. Probably going to go CJ Stroud at 5. Dak Prescott, Jalen Hurts,
You think Dak
Kirk
Prescott's better?
Cousins. I'm going to go probably
Prescott being ahead of
Matt
Hurts is-
Stafford
is
on
a
that
shame.
list ahead of them. And I don't know that I put Kyler Murray. So, yeah, they're probably 9 and 10 is more like it. So, I was guesstimating. But, yeah, they're down the list. They're not going to be.
Wild.
Where would you put
Who would you
Kyler
put?
Murray on that?
I
I would
see.
put
I've never
almost
been a big.
every quarterback ahead of Brock Purdy. Almost every one of them. Pretty damn close.
Harley gets it.
He's not
Probably
good.
would have Jake Browning before Brock Purdy.
I mean,
Honestly-
Jake Browning looked good last year.
I'm telling you, literally. Give
and
me
you're the
Joe
vice president
Flacco.
of the hate club, so I figured that would come from you.
Give me
That
Joe
it
Flacco.
boggles my mind that
Oh,
you
Flacco
would
was
pick
better.
that many
Wow,
people in
Flacco
front
was
of
slanging
Purdy.
it. So let's see. Andy's
Look, I
list
don't-
here of ahead of him is it's Mahomes, Allen, Stroud, Herbert, Stafford, Goff, Lawrence, Mayfield,
Yeah, I
Jackson,
didn't even say
Burrow,
Herbert on that list.
and Richardson is close.
See, I wouldn't put
Goff is
Richardson
going to
up
be a
there yet.
top 5 guy this year, he says.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
It's,
I would not be putting Lawrence in front of Purdy. I
Depends
wouldn't
on how
be
the
putting
receivers
Mayfield in
develop.
front of Purdy. Mayfield's probably pretty damn close to him, but I wouldn't be putting him in front of Purdy.
that's about exactly how I would rate Purdy is like probably a little shittier than Baker Mayfield. I put Baker Mayfield right above him.
Yeah, I do the opposite.
I would
Purdy
just
above
say they could
Baker.
easily just not pay Purdy and draft somebody else, and I don't think
That's
it'd
what
be
I'm
that
saying.
different.
I don't know why you would even pay him. Send him
I
somewhere
wouldn't.
else. Have somebody else pay him millions and
Well,
millions of dollars to
Watch
do
him
nothing.
become a relic. He's not throwing to
Yeah.
wide open receivers, and then that'll be
Yeah.
that.
That argument is the dumbest argument I've ever heard. Oh, he has to throw. He throws the wide
It's a
open
scheme.
receivers.
It's the scheme. It's
That
not
is
It's
him.
the
the
scheme.
point
It's the
of an
scheme.
offensive coach to come up with a scheme to get
Yes,
receivers open.
It's the
Yeah,
coach,
but
not
that is
Purdy.
why his yes, that is what
Do
we're
you
saying.
think
It's-
that Patrick
anybody
Mahomes
can
doesn't
throw
throw
to a
to
wide
open
open
receivers?
Patrick Mahomes wins games for you. Brock Purdy doesn't. That's what
Yeah.
we're saying.
Right.
I'm not
There's a reason
disagreeing
the
on that,
Chiefs-
but I'm saying the argument of he just throws the wide open receivers is the dumbest
It's not
sounding
an
argument in
argument.
the world.
That's not an argument. It's
But
just
no.
the reality.
That is
That
just
is what's
what it is.
going on.
That is coaching. That has nothing to do with Brock Purdy's talent. Throwing to an open receiver has literally fuck all to do with Brock Purdy's talent. And you can't tell me any different. Anybody
could
could just
here
throw
for
to an
another
open receiver.
hour and argue about this. We're just gonna have to move on at this point.
Yeah.
At this point, because you guys, nobody's gonna change your guys' opinion, and
No.
we're just gonna sit
That's
here
true.
and laugh.
That's
about your
true.
opinion.
That's fair.
I'm just trying to get you guys to wake up and smell the roses a little bit, but
I
you'll
can't
get
wait
there eventually.
to send
Give it
Brock
another
Purdy
year.
lowlights every time
Oh.
one happens.
Oh,
So I think
know.
He's not a good quarterback. The earth is flat.
I think this division for the NFC, now that we've gone on that tangent for a while there, I think this division
Next
in the
team.
NFC West is very interesting because we have the Niners possibly at the top because I don't feel like there's any other team that's really, really super competing with them. But there's then three teams that we could see all having take that second spot, I believe, honestly. Because the Rams are getting back a lot of healthy people. Yeah, they lost some things on defense.
I think it could be
but
the
then
Cardinals.
See, I just don't ever believe in Kyler Murray.
I don't know if the Cardinals yet. I just don't know
No,
that they're
they're-
ready.
If Kyler Murray stays healthy, I think because Kyler Murray's he'll win games kind of guy. And the problem is that they don't have any receivers outside of the rookie that they just drafted.
And they have no defense.
But
That too.
They have Buda Baker.
James
Or
Conner,
the-
the running back. So it's like,
what do the Rams really have right now? I mean, they have like
I mean, the Rams are way more loaded
decrepit
than
Stafford,
yeah, he's their
Cooper
biggest.
Kupp that
you know.
everybody thinks is gonna fall off.
Dude, I'm not going to lie to
Puka
you.
Nacua.
If Stafford goes down, I actually have really good faith in, was it Stetson Bennett?
You what?
I
Didn't he
fucked up
throw
his
like
name.
8 interceptions in a game the other day?
Yeah, but that's
That
fine.
is that is the wildest shit I've ever heard you say.
I still have
You're
faith
just
in him.
saying that
You're like-
because you watched him win like 8 national championships at Georgia because he's like 55 years old.
I feel
He's
like
as
he
old
is.
as you are.
He is. No, 100% he is.
Yeah,
But
I'm
I feel
pretty
like
sure he
he's
just threw, like,
perfect
4
for
picks.
Sean McVay. And yeah, it's in the preseasons. He's like taking chances and shit. But like, no, I have
Yeah.
faith if Stafford goes down. But that offense is ridiculous with the weapons that they have all around. Is just Jace gonna have permanent hand and face? Is that
Yeah.
all
He
it's gonna
can't
be?
handle any of us at this rate.
Yeah, I don't know. I
This
mean, the
may as well
Seahawks.
be the logo for
As
the
Andy said,
podcast.
Cardinals can't be trusted if it's double XP weekend.
Yeah,
So-
That's
yeah, you can't. Yeah,
Tom Kyler out.
yeah, literally.
so
When
the
does
Seahawks
Flu God come
is
out?
the good one on this that I have a lot of questions about because it's like they have these offensive weapons, they have the running backs. Do they keep rolling with Geno? Like, is that experiment over and done with now? Like, should it be?
I think that's still their plan, but I don't know. I mean, long term, they need to find somebody else. That's definitely their biggest question mark to me. Is Gino's very serviceable, but I just don't think that he's going to like ever get them past the 49ers.
Broncos might go, or not Broncos. Seahawks might go in 16. I'm totally.
You think?
kidding.
I was going
Ooh,
to say.
I'm just joking because a friend of mine is in the chat and he's a huge Seahawks.
Well,
I don't really know what to think of them.
We brought up Gino and fucking my buddy Scotty literally goes, he belongs at home with me.
A Seahawks fan would know. So
Yeah.
So I think the biggest thing with the Seahawks, and I'm gonna make the hot take now, and I'm gonna call it. They will have Dak Prescott
You're
as
ready
their
for this.
starting quarterback next year.
Who,
oh
the
yeah,
Seahawks?
I think Dak's gone, so he'll go somewhere.
Of all the teams to pick, you think the Seahawks?
I think they have the right
I can see
offensive weapons for him, and they're building a young core defense that has been above average. I can totally see that being the next destination for Dak.
Yeah, I could see that. And I would like that for them. I think that would make
I
them a
think that would
significantly
be-
better team.
I think
Yeah.
it would too. I agree with that.
Right.
love that you. That's probably the first time you ever mentioned liking Dak Prescott.
It's very
I
true.
don't.
Something else.
Very true.
And it's immediately mentioning him going to another division.
Yep.
That'd be me with Mahomes would be like, God, that's a great situation. For that. I
Well,
love
think
that.
about it. Who is really looking for the quarterback right now? So
More
Saints
teams
could.
in the mix.
Yeah, that's true. Saints could be. Buccaneers could be in on it. The Raiders honestly could be. Let's see. Titans,
The Giants,
maybe.
but he ain't gonna go in the division.
No, he ain't gonna go into the division. And then the Jets could be the following year after
Yeah,
Rodgers retires. You look at a lot of these teams though, it's like who's really gonna be the suitor that's got the best situation for him? Seahawks could be that best situation for him. That's
Maybe
my hot
maybe
take.
Tampa, but yeah.
Yeah,
Rams?
Tampa's another one, but I think they have a lot of faith in Baker.
Stafford
And I
retire?
personally like Baker. I
Rams?
think Baker's a great quarterback, and he gets a lot of hate. So
I would be
think
one of the haters, I guess, but
Yeah, I mean, he's not. He's serviceable. That's about it.
he's just a guy to me. But okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's I can't really give you a good estimate on this division. I think it's going to go like Niners, Rams, Seahawks, Cardinals. That's the way I feel, but I also don't have a lot of faith in the Cardinals.
I have no idea how to line up this one. I mean, I could see maybe Rams taking the division. Niners have a lot going on right now. That's all
There is,
good
yeah.
and
Mhm.
negative. So,
There is definitely a path for another team to win
as
this
of
division
this
this year.
very moment, I could see the Rams taking the division. I'd probably put the Niners under them. And then I don't know, between the Seahawks and the Cardinals, I kind of like the Cardinals, but the Seahawks have got that dog in them.
Got that dog in them.
They do.
Do not pander to the chat. Do not.
No,
Yeah, don't panic to the chat.
no, it's not that. But the Seahawks just managed to like win games. I don't know. They for some reason like I don't watch the Seahawks. I don't really see much about them. But like
I am just.
the
I am
Cardinals
all
don't
here-
have more than one fucking wide receiver to even throw to, and he's a rookie. So I don't really know. I mean, I think the Cardinals could be good, but it's hard to say. Kyler Murray will be great in fantasy. I can tell you that. But how good is he anywhere else? I don't know.
That's really
I'm
where it
gonna
matters,
go-
Tyler.
Yeah, that's what actually matters here.
That's right.
I'm going Niners, Seahawks, Rams, Cardinals.
I think I'd agree with that.
And
Yeah.
and
not
this
bad.
is just Scotty. To hell with you. I can't believe I'm saying this, but like I am all aboard this Geno Smith just like redemption tour. Like there's no quantifiable reason that I believe in Geno Smith as much as I do or this team, but it's just the fact of like an old guy who just has nothing to lose and he's just going to go out there and go, fuck it. I'm just going to, like we said, like they should already be looking at like different options at the quarterback position and like moving on. At this stage, it's like, the 49ers are good. You know what you have to go. I'd be like just throwing the motherfucking bean everywhere I could. Like pretend you are back at fucking at West Virginia and it's you and oh shit. Who I think Tavon Austin actually, who just retired, was on that team with Geno Smith. Yeah, that fucking team that would score like 75 points and win by 3 because their defense couldn't stop
Couldn't
it.
stop anything.
Be that Geno Smith, and you will win. You will get a wild card spot.
Nope, that was 100% the team. Was the Tavon Austin team, I believe.
Steve Slayton, there's a name. You remember that?
Wow.
You don't remember Steve
No,
Slayton?
I do. I was reading like, wow. Like, damn. Carly is the GOAT, evidently.
Bria. I don't know what I did.
You're a neon GOAT.
Spitting facts, I guess.
All right, so let's move on to the
Facts.
NFC South here. We kind of saved the worst division for the last, in my opinion.
Yeah, how about they all suck?
Yeah,
It's
next
unfortunate that one of
question.
them gets into the
Yeah.
playoffs. It's
So
pretty much
I've
it.
heard a lot of people consider the Falcons the
I mean, they'll probably win the division.
NFC's Jets with how they've managed the team. And it started with the draft.
I think they'll probably win the division out of any of them.
I think
Is
it
probably
makes the
if
most sense
everything
that they
works
will.
out for them, if things go the way they hope it will, they'll win the division.
Right.
But other than that, it'd be the Bucks, I guess. I don't know.
It makes the most sense that the Falcons will win, but the Bucks are the team I would probably lean on the most too.
Yeah, I wouldn't rule them out because they've won the division 3 years in a row. So Todd Bowles still there. Like a lot of their infrastructure is still there. It's just whether or not you believe in Baker Mayfield long term.
Yep.
Like if he can string together consistency, like there's no reason they can't win this division. Like I'm not sure the Falcons are getting above 9 wins realistically, and unless Kirk Cousins miraculously comes back from this torn ACL and is just killing it like he was before he got hurt. Possible,
Achilles.
I would say not likely. Was it Achilles?
Yeah.
I feel like it goes from one really good situation to a pretty decently good situation too, though. Good young receivers, a star running back, a tight end that's been underutilized.
I was just about to say, is this the year that we all just, as fantasy players, draft Kyle Pitts and get ready to get hurt again?
I won't do it.
Each year.
It ain't gonna
It's
be
like,
me.
I'm ready to be hurt
It ain't
again.
It won't be me. Won't be me.
Like, and I know you're like not dragging on Drake London, but it's like, oh, this is gonna be the thing, and it's like, do you
Everybody thought it last year of all these players.
Yep.
With fantasy, literally, how many people drafted Kyle Pitts as who they thought was going to be like their sleeper guy because he has so much potential.
I got him in the fifth
It's
round.
gonna
It's
be
such
like
good value.
I mean they could be different this year, but because they have like a new coach and all
A competent
To be
quarterback. Too.
fair, if you watched any of Desmond Ritter's game tape last year or Taylor Heineke's, I'm not like you love to shit on Brock Purdy and pretend like he's just a guy, but Harley, I'm 99% sure that you could have been better than Desmond Ritter in the pocket last year.
Yeah, well that's exactly it. They actually have a quarterback that is probably somewhat competent if Kirk Cousins comes back. I mean, if not, they have Penix that they'll just play for.
I think that quarterback draft class will then historically go down as the worst quarterback draft class of all time. With Kenny Pickett, Malik Willis.
Oh yeah, there's a
Desmond
reason
Ridder.
that there was only one quarterback picked in the first round that
Yeah,
year, and it
probably
was the
shouldn't have.
Steelers that did it. So
Yeah.
no,
I
you
don't
really shouldn't have.
know. Todd Marinovich and Ryan Leaf still came out in the same class, didn't they? Or
Ryan Leaf and Peyton Manning came
Peyton
out in the
Manning,
same
yeah.
class.
oh yeah, it wasn't Marinovich. That's right. My memory slips now, but
Just
no,
because
Marinovich was like can't remember what he was.
just
Anyhow,
because
moving
Peyton
on.
Manning was in that class, it rules that class out of being the worst.
So
Unfortunately,
Kirk
Indeed.
Cousins' Achilles blew up like what week?
It was like
it
mid-season.
It was like
I think.
mid-season.
It was like
and
week
it's
eight,
like
week nine.
Eight,
they're
eight,
not
nine?
even they're not even
They
sure
just
that,
beat
like,
the 49ers, and then the next week I think he got hurt.
yeah, it was like it was like early mid-season, something like that. But you think like Aaron Rodgers isn't playing in the preseason. He's like, I mean, he'll be back obviously, but like I don't know that you give it there's a month difference at least probably between the two injuries,
Yeah.
and it's a freaking Achilles tear. Like
And
it was long after
Kirk Cousins
having
wasn't
Rodgers
smoking
figured out.
mushrooms in a dark room or something, or
Yeah,
whatever. That
I mean,
Aaron
he
Rodgers
had
was
no
doing.
ayahuasca, none.
Ayahuasca to like really
As
heal
far as I
himself
know.
quickly. He was using the power of the Lord and Savior.
Yeah, no, yeah, I don't even know if he'll start for like a few weeks. It's gonna. I feel like it's gonna be a while. They're gonna act like he started, but I'd be surprised because his injury happened after Rodgers did.
Yeah, I think that's what pivots it. If Cousins starts relatively early, week 3-ish, whatever, and is back to his normal form, Falcons are going to win the division. If not, it's the Bucks division again. I feel.
No love for Derek Carr, Saints.
Jace, I'll let you take that one.
Jace, take it away. Derek
Right.
Carr.
I still stand by this take, but pre-leg broken 2016, Derek Carr is incredible. But the player that has emerged
So
since
was
then,
Carson Wentz.
yes. Actually, I will
Same
drive
thing.
over to your apartment. Hold up. I will drive over to your place in a little bit after this, and we can hug each other and cry and think about what could have been.
At least they won a
Eagles
Super Bowl
got
that
a
year.
Super Bowl out of it.
That's true.
We should have.
They were so good that year too. The Raiders.
Yeah, they were.
Hang on. All right. I'm better.
All right.
No, that was. I gotta quit getting distracted. No, Carr. Will eventually. I was gonna say it's a matter of what week do the Saints start playing Spencer Rattler over Carr, and
The
we can
Rattlers.
agree. We can all agree. The Rattler. Bria just said triggered.
Taysom
then
Hill's
the Panthers-
Taysom Hill's
the Panthers-
still there? I think it sounded like a big
What?
contract.
You mean their
Taysom
tight
Hill.
end?
Yeah, their tight end slash quarterback slash running
tight
back.
end, quarterback slash. He probably will be
Fullback.
returning kicks too.
Yeah.
All
I
we can-
actually wouldn't be surprised with the new kicks if he did.
All I can say about the Panthers is just brother.
Ooh,
What's
brother.
that?
Ooh, brother.
So the Saints have like a reasonable amount of talent, but I hate to even talk bad about the guy because again, it's not his fault he got hurt, but Derek Carr is just not. He's not the answer
No.
post injury, and it really is going to come down to Baker versus shit. Why am I drawing a blank?
Cousins?
Oh yeah. Well, I was literally going Desmond Ritter, but I knew that wasn't right. I do think this is the Bucs division to take, just because the Falcons have a lot of question marks and there's a lot of moving pieces that have to work.
Yeah.
I could be right, but by week 4 we could be recording the show and we can come back to this and go. And I will say this: it could be the Falcons could be a well-oiled machine and they could run away with this thing.
They're doing the right things right now, acquiring talent for the defensive side of the ball.
That's
now.
kind of how I feel about the Falcons. If things go the way that they want them, or that they're hoping that they go with all the signings and stuff that they've made, I think they can win the
But-
division. But
With I will go a little
They are the
controversial
Falcons.
here. With
Yeah.
knowing what we know right now, and we are this far into the preseason, I will actually take the Bucs and then the Falcons
That's how I'm going with it
for
too.
this division. So
Bucks, Falcons,
and
and
then
I think
Saints.
that I think it goes Saints, Panthers. I don't think there's another team that like the Panthers are 100% the basement dweller in this division.
yeah,
Well, yeah, they took Bryce Young over C.J. Stroud, so you can just forget about them.
How long
before
till we-
Bryce Young is working at a
I was about to say, like, how long's Bryce Young gonna be in the league before he's the third string quarterback for like the friggin' Jets or something?
no, he is going
He'll be at it.
he is going to be an insurance broker in like fucking New Jersey or something, guaranteed.
dude. And he's also isn't he like 5'11" and
He's
like
smaller
he looks
than
like he
Kyler
weighs like
Murray.
120 pounds.
He looks like a
He
little kid
literally,
on the
like-
field.
I think him and Kyler are the same height, but I think clearly Kyler's got a little bit of meat on his
At
bone.
least muscle, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
He-
you could still just
They
throw him
say
in Kyle
if you
Shanahan's
look at
system.
video, fuck off, Jesse.
He's right there.
Yeah.
Throw him in cuts.
Yeah,
Fuck off.
just send Purdy over to the Panthers. Bring
bet
them
they
out of
would
their
look
Jesus
much
fucking
different.
hole.
No, so I.
Kid, no.
They say like when they have videos of him at training camp, he looks like a JV kid playing with the varsity team. Like
He's very small,
yeah,
yeah.
it's pretty bad. Now there's been successful small quarterbacks. Russell Wilson won a Super Bowl. You know, we have. That's pretty much all I can think of.
The
Wasn't Jim,
Seahawks defense won the Super Bowl.
was
I
Jim,
mean,
was Jim Kelly
Doug
short?
Flutie-
I feel like one of
No.
those, or it was like Plunkett, or somebody was short. One of those older.
No, you're thinking of Doug Flutie.
Flutie. That's it. Flutie was short.
And if that's your barometer for, let me put it to you this way: is I can produce documents from a doctor that tell
Flutie
me
was
that I am
5'10".
5'9".
Flutie
Doug
was the
Flutie-
same size as Murray. Yeah.
Yeah.
Doug Flutie and Kyler Murray are both listed at 5'9". And if you've ever played a sport, you know whatever you're listed at, you're probably about a quarter of an inch to a half an inch shorter.
Yeah.
And
I
can
tell
you right
everybody
now,
I'm 6 foot
I
because I
have
don't
a
want to try to
much more
argue
time
with them
playing
that I'm
quarterback.
5'11" and 7/8 or something like that.
Yeah, let's
That's
see on
always
the
my.
here's the NFL's best short quarterbacks of all time. Tarkenton,
How
Wow.
tall was
6
Stan?
foot. 6 foot. Drew
Wow.
Brees was 6 foot.
Yeah.
Russell Wilson, 5'11". Sonny Jurgensen, 5'11". Oh, Michael Vick was 6 foot.
He had a lot of other things going for him, though.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
Doug
basically,
Flutie.
we can basically agree that like 5'11", 6 foot is the cutoff for like.
Billy Kilmer, 6 foot.
Oh yeah. Everybody knows
Eddie
him.
LeBaron, 5'7". The shortest that there was.
Oh my.
Yeah. Look up Eddie LeBaron's passing stats and tell me how good
Yeah.
of a quarterback he was.
How many times
He
did
made
he
it
hit
to
it off
4
the
Pro
back of the
Bowls.
head?
I'm sure he had like he probably had Tebow numbers where it was like 13
Yeah.
attempts, 3 completions, 10 interceptions.
And it's so funny because it literally says here in this article, the Redskins listed him at 5'9", but LeBaron has fessed up to being 5'7".
Dude, that's how it was high school basketball. You'd line up against guys and they're like, oh yeah, your coach is telling you this dude's like 6'2", and then you're standing next to him, he's
Yeah.
like 5'11".
Never
many
had a
lifts
winning
do you got in
season
your
and
shoe,
threw
bro?
37 more interceptions than touchdowns in his career. Wow.
My kind of
What
dude.
a guy.
Hey,
All right. Well,
Taylor damn near did the same
That
thing.
we were talking there about that the short guy with the shitty stats. It was Eddie LeBaron. I
Eddie
was just
LeBaron. Okay.
somebody in the chat asked who.
Yes.
Who did he play for? I'm gonna have to get an Eddie LeBaron.
Okay,
jersey.
Eddie LeBaron was
Shout out
on
to
the
the short king.
Redskins and is in the Redskins Ring of Fame and made it to 4 Pro Bowls. Okay.
Okay.
And he was unprotected by the Redskins in the expansion draft in 1960, and the Cowboys claimed him.
Oh.
That's actually wild because Sonny Jurgensen also played for the Redskins.
I was gonna say, let me look at Sonny Jurgensen here, a former Eagle and Redskin, won 3 passing titles on his way to the Pro Football Hall of Fame, including one at the age of 40. Some thought he was the best passer of his era. He was 5'11".
He was a.
Mark,
Here's
if you ever
Shane
want
Gillis's thing about, back in the day, here's old Curly. He's a 47-year-old alcoholic. He's the best athlete in the world.
yeah, the article thing.
He runs a 6-second 40 time.
It's literally like the picture they show of Len Dawson who played for the Chiefs. I think it was like, I can't remember what Super Bowl or playoff game it was, but at halftime he's literally smoking a cigarette and there's a Fresca in front of him.
Yeah. No, Andy said Eddie LeBaron is someone's uncle from Staten Island. It's probably true.
Yeah, that's
Yeah. He's
Bria
he also
says,
says he can throw it over the mountains over there.
Bria
Yeah.
said at basketball she was listed at 5'9", but she's 5'3" on a good day.
Perfect example.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think we've reached every division now. I think we got a good a barometer on how we feel with each division. There's going to be a lot of things with a lot of teams. I think we definitely have all the favorites kind of down, but there's definitely going to be some kind of dark horse that's going to come in here, some injury that's going to happen that's really going to throw things for a loop. So I'm excited to get this season started. Next week, we are going to go through like our preseason, kind of what we liked, what we didn't like, maybe a star that might be in the making. But we're going to do the main thing, and we're going to review every damn game. We're going to look at every game and see what we're going to expect for week 1. We're going to get some bets together. We're going to talk about our fantasy drafts.
I just want to talk about real football.
real football.
Any bit of that, we're really excited.
I am making a prediction. If you care about money and you want to pay your bills this year, you better pay attention to when the 4 of us start talking about bets. All right.
We're gonna have an all the rage parlay.
I think,
we're gonna post every week.
We're gonna do an all the rage parlay where each of us pick a leg, and you could do a 4-legger parlay.
I believe we talked about we're going to do the sensible pay your light bill and everything for this month parlay. But then there's also going to be the
$1 in a million
$10 on this and you might become the 4th richest person in North America.
Yeah.
So I did,
Yeah, we'll do
and I
some crazy
started
ones.
doing it near the end, and it's not something that's super duper realistic. But I did the $1 bet for the $1 million, and I rung together a bunch of parlays. And I'm not kidding you, I had some really close calls on it where
Yeah.
There is a guy on Twitter that I follow that he does the same thing. Like he'll do it like throughout seasons, but he does it all the time with like baseball and shit.
yeah,
Where it's like, yeah, I'm gonna throw 98 cents on this just for fun,
Yeah.
and just type it all up. And
I've half a mind to do that with division winners. And do a big parlay.
I thought about doing $10 on
here's
division
my pledge
winners.
to our viewers and to you people. I am totally prepared to let FanDuel or whoever show up at my door and break my kneecaps for giving you all a $1.5 million parlay.
I will
I
post
will take
my.
that. I will fall on that sword for our viewers.
We will 100% post some of our favorite bets
Yeah.
coming up this season. I always make what I like to call the what do I call it? The life changer is what I called it.
Yeah.
The life changer bet parlay, and then we'll have a lovely all the rage bet or parlay also, and then we'll probably have a nice comfortable. Here's a nice over under that you can bank on. Because I started doing that last year where I would drop a $50 bill on a, usually 50-50 chance kind of over under just to double my money and keep my winnings accumulating. And it worked out really well for me for a good while. So I think that's one thing we'll throw out there. We'll have a lot of that stuff in. We're also going to do our picks each week. We're going to do our picks out and have our, records posted similar to the way we did it 3 years ago. We'll have each individual person's record. And then, we might even touch a little bit about our two fantasy leagues. All of us actually are in both the fantasy leagues, our big money league and our family league that has this lovely trophy right here above behind my head here, which I finally ordered the nameplate for because I forgot to do it so long ago. And would you believe it? That's like $15 to order one of those little friggin' nameplates.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Jeez.
It was like $4, but the shipping was $9.
Of course.
So that'll be coming in. I'll get that posted on there. We're really excited about all the things that are becoming this
Listen.
season.
Because of the betting, Bria says, good, she can stop selling feet pics. We rock.
Hey, no,
Nice.
you cannot. Sorry, Bria, you cannot stop selling the feet pics. We depend on those.
Yeah, yeah.
We depend on that.
Yeah, little did you know, all the money you were making was from Jesse's.
I gotta go and subscribe.
Yeah, I'm just excited to talk about real football.
Yeah, next week's going to be really diving into it. We've done a lot of our previews. We've done a lot of our mumbo-jumbo bullshit talk. But now it's time to get down to brass tacks. The real shit.
Yeah, so
Each
next
team.
week we can do... What are we gonna do next week?
I just said we're going to preview each game coming in week 1.
Yeah.
We're going to do our bets. And then we're going to touch on the week 3
But then we also have
preseason games.
one the day before the very first game. I'm just saying, there's we might want to leave some of that stuff to talk about.
We'll have lots
Yeah,
of stuff
maybe
to talk
instead of-
about.
Before that.
Maybe instead of picking
We're
out a game,
still
you do
live, guys.
Super Bowl predictions.
We'll talk about
Yeah.
this later.
Yeah.
I was doing a close.
Oh my god,
Well,
I
you
can't
also
even read
did an
that chat
intro,
that
and
Bria
then your
said.
mic was fucking muted the entire time. So don't get on us because we got the format wrong when you fucked everything up to start this.
Bria, that was a long time ago that I said that statement. I was not proud of myself, okay? Jace was also ready to take it to the yard that night.
Oh no.
You're lucky you didn't.
It's not my glasses, it doesn't.
Alrighty,
count.
well,
All right.
We'll,
On that note,
talk about
thank you
real
all
football
for
next
joining us again here on All the Rage Sports. We will be coming at you next week, Wednesday again. We will be going live on YouTube each week. Now that I got that all set up and actually fixed the audio properly. But each week we'll be back bringing you all the knowledge that we can possibly bring to it. Enjoy the nice cool air over the next few days, giving us a nice little preview of how the fall is going to come. We'll go back to our little mini summer again, and then it'll drop back into those colder temperatures. Nice sweatshirts and jerseys and sweatpants and hoodies, and I'm so excited. It just makes me so excited.
We can all herald the return of our favorite thing, Pablo Sanchez here. In
Yes, yes,
Oh, yeah.
that's right. All right,
and
thank
football.
And all the Rage tournament.
all the Rage tournament for it, which we might have
Well,
to
we're doing it.
broadcast as
I
well.
mean, we'd have to.
I think that's logical.
Oh, yeah.
All right, everyone. Thank you again for joining us. As always, we are All the Rage Sports. And remember, rage on, everybody.